well. Be safe. Be healthy. Be peaceful. May all people, all beings living in the direction of our back, whoever the people living in this direction right now, may all of them be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful. May all people, all beings living in the direction of our left, every one of them living in this direction right now, in faraway cities, faraway states and countries in this direction, be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful. May all people, all beings living everywhere, in all directions, may all other living beings, all animals, large ones and tiny ones, whatever life forms there may be, visible and invisible beings, may all of them, each and every living organism, without exception, be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful, peaceful, peaceful. Keep expanding, radiating this loving kindness far and wide, just like a ripple in the porous pond is moving far and wide every moment, reaching far and wide. Let us keep radiating this loving kindness to reach all living beings. Rejoice, this wholesome state of the mind. This loving kindness has no boundaries, no limits. Reaching far and wide, embracing all beings with your wish. Rejoice. Rejoice this wholesome state of the mind. Boundless loving kindness. With that, rejoice. Let us now gently move to our meditation on breathing. Gently paying our close attention to the process of breathing happening right now. The gentle flow of the breath moving through your nostrils, filling your lungs and changing the muscles in your chest and the belly. Closely notice the in-breath and the out-breath. We will simply deepen our peace by resting our attention on our breath. Let us be with our breath, paying more and more attention to the details of the sensation of the breath. Notice how it feels like to breathe in, and notice how it feels like to breathe out. If you don't feel your breath, try to lengthen it and try to feel it clearly, and then let the natural breath to happen later. Noticing the movement of the air through the nostrils of the inner walls of the nostrils. Noticing the air filling the lungs and emptying the lungs when you are breathing out. Notice other changes in the body along with the in-breath and the out-breath. Let us be with our breath. Rest with our breath for next few minutes. Dukkha patacu nidukkha bhayapattacu nibbaya sukapattacu nisukha hontu sabbepi panino. May all those who are suffering be free from suffering. May all those who are in fear be free from fear. May all those who are grieving be free from grief. May all beings be well and happy. Gently come out of your meditation and gently put your palms together and place them against your chest. Let us take a moment to feel grateful for this opportunity to have peaceful meditation in our life. Feel grateful to all great teachers, enlightened masters who passed this wisdom from generation to generation. Feel grateful to anyone who helped your practice tonight, who supported and arranged this place for us to practice. And feel grateful even to these non-living things which helped your meditation, including this cushion, the chair, the bell, and this device that help you to practice from home. With deep gratitude, let us say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, how's the meditation? Was it too hot for you? No? Okay. Any sharing or any questions?
Felt good to be back.
Yes, John.
When we're practicing, we have a thought in whatever form it takes. Are we supposed to first acknowledge it as a thought, like by generating another thought in terms of like, okay, there's a thought, and then I say to myself, thought? Or do we not generate another thought and just let it pass by?
Actually, when we acknowledge, it's not necessarily creating another thought. It's becoming aware of a thought, becoming aware that there's a thought, and so now we need to stop it developing. So stop, bringing more memories to that. Start developing secondary thoughts. So as a technique to stop developing secondary thoughts, we can acknowledge it as a thought. Then, because then the mind has something to do, which is the acknowledging of the thought. Because otherwise, mind will do the other thing, which is to develop the thought. So we give a mind a task because mind can only do one task at a time. So before it, develop, the other thoughts and connect to other memories and start the whole story, before mind is doing that, we quickly give a chance to mind to acknowledge it. And even and to say a thought and thought. we do it, in initial level, but later you don't even have to say a thought. You don't have to label it. You simply become aware of it. So becoming aware of a thought is not a thought. Becoming aware of thought is the awareness. And thoughts is like, ripples in the water. Becoming aware is like like a water. Maybe wrong example. The thoughts is like the clouds, and awareness is like the sky. So most of the time we are in the clouds. Sometimes can be heavy clouds, sometimes can be fast moving clouds. But when we become aware of the thought, we are actually going above, and then we are in the sky and looking down, or cloud. So we are not in the cloud. When you observe, when you become aware of a thought, in our mind we are switching to the sky and looking down the cloud.
So when we say thought, it helps us to get to that point.
Yes,
Okay.
as a technique,
Yeah.
as a tool. Yes. Yeah. There's some technical difficulty, right, Bhante?
I think for 5 minutes.
Yes. Yeah, today you may be wondering, what happened to Bhante Lakana, who used to sit here, and we have another monk sitting here instead of him. Actually, Bhante Lakana is here, and he's not feeling well today. He's having some issue with his stomach, so he's resting, and yeah, he should be okay now. Was getting better, right? So yeah, so he's resting. And Bhante Sorata, Bhante Sorata is from Chicago. I went to Chicago last weekend, and then I had a program there. And when I came back, I brought him here. No, actually, so when he heard that I'm coming to Chicago, and he and Bhante Kamalasiri, they studied together. They used to be colleagues. So when he heard that I'm going there, and he planned to come with me to visit Bhante Kamalasiri and visit our center, and so he'll be here with us for about a week. Yeah, so he's visiting us, Bhante Sorata. Yeah. So welcome, Bhante. Yes. So for our discussion, so we have been discussing the 14 qualities that are mentioned in the Loving Kindness Sutra, in the Metta Sutta, as supporting qualities to practice our loving kindness. We completed all 14. So now, today I would like to, discuss there's also another quality, another important instruction given there. Before we practice loving kindness, it's important to fulfill these qualities. But before that, I would like you to give an opportunity to suggest topics or issues that you would like to discuss on our Wednesdays. Right. So today, before you leave, we can have a book over there, a piece of paper, and you can write your suggestions. The topic and issues you like to discuss. So we can, I will look into them and then try to, organize our discussions along those themes. So, if you have the books with you, so turn to because we in this chanting book we have the Loving Kindness Sutra. The last is page 16. So we discussed actually all these all these like a 6-7 weeks, no more than 6-7 weeks, I think about more than 2 months. We only discussed the first two verses of the sutra. But but we discuss each quality in detail. And maybe can someone help me to read the English translation of the first two verses? You can? Okay, thank you, Guriya. Can you?
He who is skilled in working out one's well-being and who wishes to attain the state of peace should act thus. He should be adroit, straight, upright, obedient, gentle, and humble. He should be contented and easily supportable, but with few responsibilities, of simple livelihood, controlled in his senses, prudent, courteous, and not hanker after association with men.
Okay. So we discuss each qualities in detail, how we can practice and how these qualities can help us to practice genuine loving kindness in our life. And thank you, Vidya. And then the third verse, it's before it start real loving kindness practice. It says that let him not perform the slightest wrong for which wise men may rebuke him. So, and then, of course, then we can start wishing well-being. May all beings be happy and safe. May they all have happy minds. And then continue the practice of loving kindness in different ways and different stages. But after Buddha listed out these 14 qualities as qualities that we should develop as our way of life and as a supporting qualities that enable us to be genuinely practicing loving kindness. After listing these 14 qualities, and Buddha talked about another one. Let him not perform the slightest wrong for which wise men may rebuke him. Can you give one word for that quality? Not doing wrong, slightest wrong, not doing wrong things. What would be the quality?
Wholesome.
Yeah, being wholesome. Yeah. Another word. Okay, if I ask it, okay, explain. Give me one word to explain roughly, this idea. Let him not perform the slightest wrong for which wise men may rebuke him.
Pure.
Pure.
Yeah, purity, moral behavior, right?
Obedience.
Yeah, we had the obedience before. Yes,
Yeah,
obedience.
similar.
Yeah, similar. This he actually talks about moral behavior, about maybe precepts, morality, and so in other words, Buddha talks about blamelessness, because it says that we should after other than developing the previous qualities, and then we have to have this have this awareness, have this mindfulness, have this commitment, have this determination not to do the slightest wrong. Slightest wrong, which are slightest wrong for which wise men may rebuke. Um, when we talk about the moral precepts, the precept that we follow, for example, the 5 precepts that we just recited in the earlier, not to harm any living being, not to steal, and so forth. And when you talk about moral precepts, the principle of following this precept is actually not to create suffering in anyone's life, and also not to create suffering in one's own life. And the principle is actually to behave in a way that will not add any suffering to other people and also not add any suffering to oneself. So the principle is given as a very neutral principle. And usually when they talk about moral behavior, it doesn't say that because I don't like it, you shouldn't do it. That's not the way. It's always using the suffering, the very practical experience as the criteria. Anything that is promoting suffering is unwholesome, and anything that is promoting non-suffering or peace is wholesome. That is the criteria. But here we find this reference that we should not do slightest wrong for which wise men may rebuke. Actually, the men is wrong translation. It can be a women. It's a actually Vinyu. In Pali is Vinyu. What will be the other translation? Vinyu is like a wise people. Vinyu. So here we have a reference to like behave in a way that others may not blame you, but not simply everyone. That's the important point here.
Would that be kind of like Kalyana Like
Yes, exactly. Like, and the phrase is Vinyu, right? Bante, Vinyu. So Vinyu is like knowledgeable people, wise people. So in sometimes we need to listen to wise people too. Or maybe he actually use our community, maybe our teachers, our elders, whoever, our maybe wise friends, our wise family members, as a supporting condition to behave morally. Sometimes if you're too independent, too individualistic, there's no one to answer, no one to like be no one to look out, no one to be responsible for, and you may you may ended up doing things that because there's no like a moral guard. So it's okay to use the suffering as a guideline, but in addition to that, we also have to use our teachers, our wise friends, and our elders as supporting people for us to live a moral life. In that way, so we shouldn't be living a kind of secret life. We should be live a life that is very open and very honest, and make sure that when you want to do something naughty, something not correct, and ask the question, if this wise person come to know about it, if Bante comes to know about it, will he rebuke me or not? Will he rebuke me or not? Maybe my wise friend come to know about it. So you can think about it, and you can use it as a as a reflection, to prevent you from doing wrong things. So in order to practice loving kindness, we also have to have a moral foundation, moral precepts, and then living our life in a way that is pure, and moral, and particularly using our wise people around us. It's very important to find some wise people to be around you, because we will not be able to make the best decision all the time. We may contemplate, we will come to a decision, but it's always good to consult people with more experience, people with of course they have to be kind too, they have to be genuine too, but it's very important to like have that kind of network in our life. And that is why we like to build in this fellowship, this network, and this spiritual friendship, Kalyana Mittas, because it's important to get that support, and also to like use that community as a another motivation for us to be good. And so it's blamelessness. Actually, there's also joy of blamelessness, particularly when it comes to developing loving kindness as a meditation, because in order for us to make our meditation successful, we have to be free from remorse. In there are 5 hindrances that will disturb our meditation. 5 hindrances. This one is sensual lust or sensual desires, constant yearning to gratify our senses. Another one is ill will, like strong anger. And then other one will be laziness, sleepiness, laziness, and lethargic nature. And the other one is actually the remorse, restlessness and remorse. So, of course, it doesn't mean that, and of course, in our life, we may have done, unskillful things many times. But as long as we acknowledge it, we recommit ourselves to moral practice. As long as you have told about it to a teacher or a good friend, and then you commit yourself not to repeat it, and then you are free. You're not you are not like permanently blamed for that, because Buddhist understanding that our being, our this whoever person is not a fixed entity, is constantly moving and changing process. So anytime we can change, no matter what horrible things that you have done, as long as you have acknowledged it, you have fully realized its consequences and its unwholesomeness, and you have reveal it to a teacher or friend, and make a commitment and determination to behave better, and you are done. And that is why even like a person like Angulimala can become an enlightened one. Anyone knows about Angulimala? Who knows about Angulimala? Yes.
Ahimsa.
Yes. Can you briefly say who is Angulimala?
He was a bit of a serial killer. He was kind of put by his teacher on like kind of a wrong path, and so he wanted to get people's fingers, cut off their fingers, and he wore them around his neck, and that's what his name was, Angulimala, finger necklace.
Yeah.
And then the Buddha
Yeah.
spoke to him.
So he has killed so many people. Then, of course, he was misguided by his teacher, and then Buddha went to see him, right? And that meeting really, changed his course of life. And then he was willing to listen to the Buddha, and then of course Buddha started to train him, and ultimately he became an enlightened being, like a saint. And even today, we venerate him because, and he was transformed to the extent that, of course, it's a long story, I'm cutting this short in how he transformed. It requires a lot of training for him. But, Buddha was guiding him to like train. And because he was so gullible, so naive, he was misguided because he met the Buddha, and he was able to change his personality completely in the opposite way. And then he started to develop this loving kindness, started to feel the suffering of other people. And, and whenever he go out, he will get stones from the people. People throw stones at him, throw all kind of things at him. He was coming back temple every day with a bowl of rice and also the bleeding. But Buddha trained him not to even to have a slightest thought of anger when a stone hit him. And he developed his mind to that level that he was able to bear that, knowing that I have caused more harm to other people. And then, and also like, understanding the suffering of the people who are throwing the stones, and not having compassion, not anger. And then one day he saw a pregnant mother who's having, having issues of, delivering the baby. And he felt that pain and suffering, and then had deep compassion. This mother is going to give a life, and she putting herself into the risk of losing her own life. And this is the time, 6th century BCE. We don't have this kind of medical facilities. So he developed this deep compassion, came to the Buddha and asked, I saw this pregnant mother having difficulty. How can I help her? And Buddha taught him a chanting. We call it, act of truth. And go back to that, mother, and sit down and focus your mind and recite this formula, which means that, in my life, I have never harmed or killed any living being. If this is true, by the power of this truthfulness, she has a smooth delivery. But he said, how can I do that? In my life, I have deprived many lives. But they said, no, you can make this act of truth, contemplate it not from your whole life, but from the day that you became a monk. Buddha said that from the day that you were born into this life, and focus on that day onwards, not the whole life. From the day that I became a monk, from that day onwards up to now, I have never killed or harmed any living being. If this is true, if this is really a fact, by the power of this truthfulness, by the power of this truth, may there be smooth delivery for this mother. So he learned this formula, this mantra from the Buddha, went back and focus and kneel down in front of this mother and focus his mind and generate all of his loving kindness and recited this formula 7 times in front of her, making this act of truth. We call it act of asseveration, act of truth. And the baby was delivered. And he became a symbol of loving kindness, the person who actually started, who we used to kill.
And I've been asked sometimes when monks see a pregnant woman, they give that chant.
Exactly. Even up to now, like more than 2,600 years have passed. Even now, when the usual pregnant mothers come to us, we have a customary blessing that we do to pregnant mothers. We still chant the same formula that Buddha taught, Venerable Angulimala. And we still chant the same chant, right, even today. So you can think about, how, he changed.
And so after associating with the wise person, he was able to change his behavior.
Yeah, because of the influence of the spiritual teachers, right?
So before he was associating with unwise students, they misguided him. But after associating the wise person who is Buddha, completely he was changed by the Buddha.
Yeah, this is actually a real story of rehabilitation or personal reformation. Like 180-degree change. And so, if a serial killer can become a saint, who else cannot be, right? If you have proper guidance and proper technique. So we use the story as an inspiration for people. And in fact, I saw that in UK, there's a rehabilitation program in prisons called Angulimala. What is it called? Angulimala Rehabilitation. Yeah, Angulimala Rehabilitation Program. Anyway, so, however, what I was going to explain is that remorse is something that we should get rid of in order to make our meditation successful. We have to get rid of remorse. That means, look, contemplate on our life and be happy about the blamelessness of our life, blamelessness of our conduct, purity of conduct. That doesn't mean that we have never done anything wrong. It's simply whatever moment that you make this commitment, and from that day onwards, I have committed my life to this practice. Maybe we fail at times. That is why every Wednesday we observe these 5 precepts.
And also,
otherwise, we should be able done within one day. You observe 5 precepts, they should be done. No, we renew the vows every Wednesday. Reestablish ourselves. Yes,
in the aspiration, we also wished, may I never follow the unwise people.
Yeah, every day, right?
Every day.
Today, yeah, we say may I never follow unwise people. That's our aspiration. We do every day, every Wednesday, because we can be misguided easily.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Anyway.
Some comments.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, freedom from remorse is a supporting factor for meditation. So living a blameless life, living a very moral life can really support our meditation. And so it's really important, because meditation is not something that you somehow come here and then switch off your mind and have a like a zone, like a free. That's not how meditation is going to work. Meditate, and how we live the whole day is going to affect how we going to sit and meditate, and how we live a whole week is going to affect what kind of thoughts will visit us, what kind of physical difficulties that we encounter. So the meditation is not unrelated to the life that we are living. It's all connected. So that is why the meditation is only part of the 8 items in the path, we call Noble Eightfold Path. So therefore, blameless life is important for us to have successful meditation. So here, before Buddha, before going to explain, the practice of loving kindness, he also mentioned about this moral behavior. Okay, so we have a suggestion for discussion, and so there's a question about whether to practice metta meditation or loving kindness meditation continuously, and how to incorporate samatha and vipassana. I think it's another topic to discuss. So Beeline, here we basically practice samatha forms of meditation, basically, loving kindness and breathing meditation. We utilize vipassana techniques whenever we have retreats. So then 11th of this month, we will have a 1-day retreat. So that day we will practice some vipassana meditation. So usually on Wednesday, we only practice what we call samatha forms of meditation, which is calm meditation, or meditation of tranquility. Yeah. Okay. Any and in fact, actually, in one sutta, Buddha says that following the 5 precepts that we observe is also a form of giving 5 types of gifts to the world. There are 5 great gifts, Buddha said. There are 5 great gifts we can give to the world. Okay, so you will, expect, okay, in that case, okay, maybe giving food, giving clothes. Now, when Buddha explained these 5 great gifts, he said that the first gift is actually the freedom of fear that we can give to all living beings by committing to live a life of non-violence. When you observe the first precept, not to kill or harm any living beings, we're actually giving a gift of giving a gift of fearlessness. You're giving a gift of freedom from fear to many living beings. So in that way, Buddha say that following each precept, you're actually giving gifts to the world. 5 gifts. Right? For example, when you observe the precept that not to lie, and not be mindful of our speech, and you are giving a gift of freedom from suspicion to other people. If you're such a person, you are giving such a freedom for people don't have worry and be suspicious, because they know that okay, he has this vow, so you give the gift of trust to other people. So you're actually giving many gifts to others. Yes.
I was really interested by what you were saying about remorse getting in the way of loving kindness, and I was
Any forms of meditation.
Yeah, and I was wondering about that because at least in kind of a, I don't know, maybe a Western context, that we often use remorsefulness as a good thing.
Good
Say
thing,
someone
or
is
good.
remorseful,
Mhm.
we say, oh, they must be pretty good, or that's appropriate,
Mhm.
or it's a mark of someone maybe turning around or something like that. We usually say it in a good way. So is it
Yeah.
just that there's a time for that and a time to let that go, or is it never something to
Yeah.
really need?
It's a very good point. Thank you, Aaron, for bringing that. Actually, remorse, so it's acknowledging one's mistake, acknowledging one's unwholesome qualities is one thing. Remorseful about that is another thing. So because remorse is it's already done. It's the past. Now you can't do anything about it again. Simply worrying about remorse in the sense of keep worrying about it is not considered a virtue in Buddhism. Because it's not you can change it. It's good to acknowledge. Good to acknowledge, and then important thing is to reveal it to a teacher, and then you commit and you determine, and always the advice is like to get rid of the remorse, knowing that you are not a permanent fixed being. It's done, it's gone, and now what is most important is now, and start from now onwards. So the remorse, so we call kukucha in Pali, is considered a hindrance. There are many guidance to get rid of it. That doesn't mean that we are going to forget all what we do. It doesn't mean that we are going to ask forgiveness from others. It doesn't mean that we are going to forget and live as if nothing happened. We acknowledge it, we ask forgiveness, but we don't dwell in that dark place. We don't worry about it. We want to get rid of it, knowing that now I'm different. I have different commitment. I have new life, and that is past. My past self. Right now, I have new self. You can be kind to your past self, but don't have to bring it to the front again and again. So remorse is considered something that we should overcome.
There's a simile in the choppy water, or like an ocean that's really choppy.
Yeah.
And when it's calm, it goes back to.
Exactly. Having remorse in the mind is explained as having a water with ripples, or ripples you can't see through.
Can't see through it.
Yeah. So I have to find a way to calm it down. Okay, thank you everyone. So let us move to the other part of the program and turn to page number 14. It is time to share the merits. By coming to this practice and doing this practice together, we have generated so much goodness in our hearts, so much wholesomeness, so much good merits, good karma. But now you can share this good merits with all others. First of all, let us share these merits with all our departed ancestors, our relatives, our family members, whoever helped us so much, who are no more with us today. Let us be grateful to all our ancestors, all our family members and relatives, and share these merits with them. May they all share these merits. May they all be benefited from these merits. May they all be well and happy wherever they may be. Idang mi ñātinang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idang mi ñātinang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idang mi ñātinang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Let us also share this merits with all other living beings. If there's any being who would like to share this merit, may he or she do so. May all living beings share these merits. May all living beings be well, happy, and peaceful. Ittavata ce amhi sambetang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Wish for the well-being of the world in English. May the weather be pleasing. May the people prosper in their lives. May there be peace and happiness in the world. May the rulers be righteous. May all those who are suffering be free from suffering. May all those who are in fear be free from fear. May all those who are in grief be free from grief. May all beings be well and happy, aspiration. May this wholesome act quicken the liberation of my mind from mental defilements. By virtue of this wholesome act, may I never follow the unwise people. May I associate with good people until I attain Nibbana, purification. If by body, speech, or mind I have callously done wrong, I acknowledge them all in front of the Tathagata of great wisdom and determine to be heedful. Okay, now we are going to do this blessing chant. We are going to chant the Loving Kindness Sutra, the discourse on loving kindness given by the Buddha. This particular sutta was given by the Buddha with great compassion for all living beings. So we are going to chant the same sutra, same discourse for you, wishing you well-being, wishing you healing, wishing you strength and courage to overcome difficulties in your life, wishing you wisdom and mindfulness to find solutions to issues in your life. So may you all receive these blessings and be blessed with good health, peace, happiness. And especially today, we want to extend our blessings to Ron, having a birthday, and wishing him all the success and all the good health and blessings. And also, we also want to extend blessings to this couple who are having celebrating the anniversary. We wish both Kema and Ron to have these blessings and be blessed with good health and more joyful and peaceful time together. May you continue to help each other to grow. May you continue to share your loving kindness and compassion between you both. And may you both, day by day, grow and continue and be happy. With that wish, we will chant, may you all receive these blessings. May you all be blessed with good health, peace, and happiness. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Karaniya manta kusalena yantam santam padang abhisamit sakko jocha sojocha soacho chasam mudvanati mani santos sakocha subarocha ampagitchocha salahukavunti sangrim Riyocha nipakocha ampagam kulesu ananugindo nacha kundang samachare kinchena vinyu pare upavadeyam sukino vakemino hontu sabbe satta bhavantu sukitanta eke cipana bhutanti tasavata varava anavasesa digavaye mahang Majjhima rasansakanukatula dittava eva additta yecha dure vasanti avidure bhutava sambhavesi sabbe satta bhavantu sukitanta paro parang nikumbeta natimang kanta cinang kanche pyarosana patikha sanyana manyas sadukha mitche Mata Yatani Puntang Ayusa Eka Punta Manurakke Evam Pesamba Bhute Sumana Sangbhavaye Aparimanang Metang Cha Sambhalokasmi Manasang Bhavaye Aparimanang Uddham Adocha Tiriyang Asang Padang Averang Asapatang Tentang Charang Nisingno Sayano Vayavatas Vigadamindo Etang Sating Adinte Brahmametam Viharang Idamaho Deting Cha Anupagam Silva Dasansanena Sangpanno Kame Suvineya Geda Nahi Jatu Gambaseyam Punareti Etena Sanjavajjena Sotti te hotu sambhada Etena Sanjavajjena Sambharogo vinassatu Etena Sanjavajjena Hotu te jaya mangalang Sabbitiyo vivajjantu Sambharogo vinassatu Mate bhavatpantarayo Sukhi digayuko bhavatu Sabbha mangalang Rakkantu Sabbha devata Sabbha buddhanubhavena Sada Sotti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabbha Mangala Rakkantu Sabbha Devata Sabbha Dhammanubhavena Sada Sotti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabbha Mangala Rakkantu Sabbha Devata Sabbha Sanghanubhavena Sada Sotti Bhavantu Te. Let us spend a moment of reflection. Let us try to recall to our mind whatever kind deed that we were able to do during last few days. Recall to your mind and any incident or any moment that you were able to be kind to someone. Maybe helping someone or giving something to someone or sharing your knowledge with someone. Even a simple act of kindness. Recall an actual incident to your mind. Let us rejoice the opportunity to be too kind to someone. It's really good that we get a chance, an opportunity to be kind to others. Let us rejoice. On this day, or in the past, if I have done kind deeds to other beings, with my body, speech, or mind, whether great or little, here before the Buddha, I call to mind those kind deeds, and let my heart rejoice. I rejoice in those kind deeds, appreciating the opportunity to be helpful to others. I rejoice in those kind deeds, wishing more opportunities to practice compassion. I rejoice in those kind deeds, resolving not to compare myself with others. I rejoice in those kind deeds
I rejoice in those kind
and
deeds.
gladly share this joy with all beings everywhere.
And gladly share this joy with all beings everywhere.
May my kind deeds
May my kind deeds
relieve the burdens of other beings.
relieve the burdens of other beings.
May my kind deeds
May my kind deeds
shield me from all dangers and pain.
shield me from all dangers and
May my
pain.
kind deeds
May my kind deeds
and merits that come from them
merits that come from
help me in freeing my heart.
help me in freeing my heart.
Let us now recall to our mind whatever kindness we receive from others. During past few days, someone should have cared for you. Someone should have helped you in a number of ways. Try to recall an actual incident. Then someone helped you. Someone was kind to you. Let us rejoice in the goodness of others. On this day,
On this day,
or in the past,
or in the past,
if I have seen or heard
if I have seen or heard
of the kind deeds done by others,
of the kind deeds done by others,
with their body, speech, or mind,
with their body, speech, or
whether
mind,
great or little,
whether great or little,
here before the Buddha,
here before the Buddha,
I call to mind
I call to mind
those kind deeds,
those kind deeds,
and let my heart
and
rejoice.
let my heart rejoice.
I rejoice in the goodness of others,
I rejoice in the goodness of others,
being always ready to praise kind people
being always ready to praise kind people
and follow their example.
and follow their example.
I rejoice in the goodness of others,
I rejoice in the goodness of others,
appreciating that there are many good-hearted people in the world.
appreciating that there are many good-hearted people in the world.
I rejoice in the goodness of others,
I rejoice in the goodness of others,
expressing gratitude for any kindness done.
expressing gratitude for any kindness done.
May the kind deeds of others
May the kind deeds of others
bring safety and happiness to many living beings.
bring safety and happiness to many living beings.
May the kind deeds of others
May the kind deeds of others
foster gratitude and fellowship among many living beings.
foster gratitude and fellowship amongst many living beings.
May the kind deeds of others
May the kind deeds of others
nurture goodness in me
nurture goodness in me
and many living
and
beings.
many living beings.
Sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, everyone, for being here and really enjoyed practicing with you. And thank you also everyone who joined over YouTube. We are sorry for the technical, difficulty we had, but we restored it very quickly. And thank you very much for participating from home. And we really want to appreciate your commitment to practice from home. And look forward to see you again. And thank you everyone, and good night. Please come for the blessing strings. I think one announcement actually, I forgot about it. 11th June, which is the Sunday, right? Is it? Yeah. Sunday, we will have a monthly gathering. So, in addition to monthly gathering, we will also have a half-day retreat. We start at 9 a.m. and go all the way to 4 p.m. It's a half-day retreat. You can come and observe the precepts and practice meditation and Dhamma talks and discussions. So, and lunch is provided. So you can, plan to attend that retreat, a half-day retreat on 11th Sunday, or you can come during lunchtime and attend the talk. We are going to talk on emotional resilience in honor of the Father's Day. Yeah. Okay, so please welcome on 11th Sunday. Either you can come for lunch and stay for the talk and leave, or you can come in the morning and stay whole day and leave. Two options.